People are wondering what the future of the theatrical industry is and the future of theaters. And I actually have some thoughts about that, not only today, but in 10 years. And I recently heard Martin Scorsese talking about that he thinks that event-driven movies, the big movies, the ones you must see on the screen, should be separated and classified differently than narrative-driven films, smaller films. Well, my response to that was I didn't really agree with his take on it. I think there is actually some truth kind of a little bit in what he said, which is I think the future of the film industry, the theatrical industry, is going to be that the films that people go to see in theaters are going to be event-driven experiences, just like Mr. Scorsese was saying. I think the unfortunate part for him is that narrative-driven films are going to be either in independent films, independent theaters, or they're going to be streaming only. I think the window for theatrical releases is shrinking. I've talked about that before. If you look at, as an example, Netflix is doing sometimes 2-week theatrical releases before something goes live on streaming. Anyway, I just think that the future of the theatrical industry is going to be probably less theaters and more event-driven experiences, and that's kind of at the big game. And then I think this is actually potentially even an opportunity for independent theaters. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest and we have the Hollywood, and that's our local independent theater. And it is more of a cultural phenomenon, kind of an event-driven place than anything. And yeah, they do some theatrical releases or they participate in the early release of certain films, but mostly what they do is they do a lot of curated events like a horror week or a horror month, different cultural events. And I think that's kind of what the future of all of this is. I think that's what'll continue to happen in the not too distant future and towards, but personally, the thing that's really exciting is I think that theaters are going to become more creation hubs than just viewing hubs. I think if you took a theater and instead of having chained down seats, bolted down seats, you actually had seats that could move in and out. I think if you put a green screen into a theater, I think if you put an editing bay, and I think if you invited people to not only come to view things, but maybe come to make things. While artificial intelligence is going to make a lot of great movies out there, that people are still going to want to make things. And I think that community, which I believe and we believe is going to drive a lot of the future of entertainment, will find itself in that way on a more local level.